Well, speaking about training, I mean,
Yes.
the figures that they released here now happens to be that the informal sector, which you also highlighted, recorded 158,894 new jobs. That doubles
Exactly.
the one for the formal sector,
Yes.
which are just about 76,018 new jobs.
Yes.
And then the public sector had about 5,959 new jobs. The training that is required, look at our institutions today, high learning.
No, it
How many
doesn't.
of them?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be that at that level.
No, I'm just looking at what institutions do we have to back up some sort of training for this informal sector that happens to provide more of the jobs than the regular sectors.
Yes, we have quite a few, no doubt. The Faith Foundation of this world, the EDC of this world, the other smaller, NGOs even, who are providing some form of training or the other. But the
Business
training, yes. But the thing is that it's like most of them are concentrated in Lagos. And then the rural areas, what's going on?
So it's even possible that we're not even capturing all the jobs
We
that have
are
been
not,
created.
We are not. It's the city centers. You go, okay, let me give you an example. When my younger brother was a local government chairman in the Bonny State, on Hosera local government, what he did was to open up some grading of roads and open up this hired light somewhere and this thing. And what did it do? It encouraged some economic activity during that period. People who lived outside were now coming back and say, okay, look, we can do something here. And suddenly, after 2007 elections, all those things were destroyed because of politics and all that. And everybody now decided to travel. What I'm saying, in effect, is until we begin to look at even the communities, what we can do, it might not be. They may find out other ways of raising these funds. Because fund is not the only challenge that small businesses have. They have other things.
Okay.
Or when you provide those other things, like making sure that they have access, like roads, I don't need to hire a truck because the road is bad. How can I move my wares to, So, but they're focusing only on fund. And for small business, funding is not the only challenge.
Okay,
there are other issues.
I mean, such as perhaps will also be or will have to do with the cost of doing business in this country.
Exactly.
Let's play this report for you.
Okay.
So we'll just take it from there.
Yeah.
They did release this report, Global Competitiveness Index, where Nigeria is said to have ranked 127 out of the 144 countries that did all of this. And so this argument just keeps going back and forth concerning them not taking into cognizance of the current realities, how we have rebased, how we should be faring or rank better than what was released. What do you think of that?
Rebasing has not changed anything in the lives of Nigerians. It has not changed. The only thing that changed was the figures. It has no direct impact on this. But the only thing it has done is to give more confidence to investors that, look, this is now the largest economy in Africa. And we cannot afford to ignore it. And some company, even before the rebasing, they met, the international business people met in Europe, somewhere in London or so. And they decided that the next emerging market is Africa, and then singled out Nigeria. Okay, there was a German consulting firm that came, and they to set up in Africa, Middle East, but they were advised to go to South Africa, but they said no, that Nigeria should be their head office, for Africa, and then take care of the Middle East, and Roland Berger Consulting. And that's what they're doing. So the confidence, in spite of the rebasing and all that. But the point is that in the past, they say, okay, stability, political stability is one key factor to setting up business and all that, investment. Now, but you find that in recent times, there's some businesses that actually thrive in volatile environments. So no matter how volatile Nigerian environment is, you find that some businesses can take the risk to invest. I'll give you an example. I have a friend who's a senior manager, executive director of one of the banks. And because he's from the north, and the bank moved him to north to cover Maiduguri and all these places. And, so I called him up one day. I said, how are you doing? Are you still alive? He said, yeah. That this crisis is even benefiting the bank right now.
Wow.
So in every threat, there is opportunity. And every opportunity, there's a threat.
Which is part of the SWOT analysis?
Yes. So you find that even though in this crisis going on in those things, companies are running away from the north, but other smart ones are making business.
Well, this report is a rather long one, but maybe we can take some part of it so that we could just get your comments as well before we wrap it up. Let's take a look at it, please.
Every year since 2004, the World Economic Forum has used the Global Competitiveness Index, GCI, to measure and determine the productivity and economic competitiveness of countries, regions, and cities. The GCI scores are calculated based on 12 pillars of competitiveness, including improved institutions, infrastructure, health, and primary education. In the last 5 years, Nigeria has not performed well, and the latest ranking has caused more than a few palpitations and drawn attention to some of the issues raised.
I'm actually a bit concerned that at the time when all the indices actually seem to be going well for Nigeria, you look at basically in terms of the economic indices for the country, as well as basically the growth rate, which even the World Economic Forum also confirmed. I actually expected to actually see a much improved position actually basically being presented for Nigeria.
What's been playing against Nigeria has been three things. One is infrastructure, poor infrastructure development. The second one is corruption. And the third one is access to finance.
Your institutions, you're not paying enough attention to them. You're not paying enough attention to health and primary education. You're not paying enough attention to political stability and these other things. Now, is that a perception issue or is it reality? I would like to suggest that a lot of these indicators under these areas are the reality. That is how it is.
But the National Competitiveness Council of Nigeria says the report is based on indicators that do not reflect the present or near future, including the rebasing of the economy and much lower poverty levels than projected, stressing that Nigeria's security position, which was one of the major negative factors in the ranking, was not as bad as some other countries which were rated better than Nigeria. Some say otherwise.
If you say Nigeria has grown year on year at more than 6% for the last 10 years, for the last how many years? So does that make us more competitive when the growth has not been inclusive?
If we do not also pay very serious attention to the drivers of the economy, particularly the drivers of business, of business growth, or business performance, we're likely not to go too far, even with the big size of the economy.